News Radio 700 WLW.
And, Rock, I'm reading this article here, and the headline says that gas prices are going down. Seems a little weird to me.
I don't feel like they are around here.
I kind of missed that a little bit.
But I guess, the national average price of gas is down, just 5.8 cents in the last week. So I guess that's a good thing.
Well, let's get to our guest and talk about it. He knows a lot more about this stuff than we do. He is Jay Young. We've had him with us many times. He is old school Texas gas and oil man. And Jay, welcome back to the program.
Hey, absolutely. Thank you for having me on again. It's always good talking to you guys.
So Jay,
always. Even if you do say that I've been on them many times and I'm old, or an old Texas.
I don't think you're as old as I am, but nonetheless, Jay. So what are we? You heard us talking there. Are gas prices really going down, or are we living a lie here?
Yeah, no. I mean, the election's coming up. What do you expect? No, just kidding. In a way, I'm just kidding, but I'm going to tell you right now that
sure.
You'll see some big changes, obviously going into the election and no telling what is going to happen, obviously, but we are seeing gas prices going down right now. I don't see that happening for a long period of time. I don't see it. Okay. So, and the reason why is because OPEC's cutting back. So let's just talk about that for a second. Why do gas prices go up and down? And people think, when they meet me and they say, "Oh, Jay, you're in the oil business," and I wrote the book, The Upside of Oil and Gas Investing, and they go, "Oh yeah, well you're the one, you're making all this money by increasing gas prices." No, that's not. It's not our fault. It's not our fault that gas prices go up and down. It's all about supply and demand. If you have more supply on the market than you do demand, prices are going to go down. If you do the other way around, obviously, the price will go up. And that's what's going to happen, not necessarily right now, but we're going to see by the end of the year, oil prices will be at $80, $90, $100 a barrel. When that happens, well, gas prices will also go up because we're going to take a lot of demand out of the system this summer because of driving. We have OPEC cutting back on their production to the United States, meaning less oil. Remember, supply and demand, less oil or less supply. Less supply, more demand. Prices are going to go up. And you also have rig count. There's a lot of wells, rig counts at one of its lowest levels in a couple of years now in the United States, especially Texas, which means that we're not drilling as fast as we were before, which means that supply is not going to be on the table. And if that supply is not on the table and we don't have the supply and our demand continues to increase, which is what everybody's saying, demand is going to increase, then we're going to be spending more for a gallon of gasoline in 3 months, 6 months. So enjoy it now because it's not going to save that 5.8 seconds. 5.8 cents.
And Jay, let me ask you this: how much this has to do with? I believe it was 2 or 3 weeks ago. Biden released 1 million barrels out of the strategic oil reserve. There is that now 2 and 3 weeks later? Is that what's having maybe a little bit of the effect of the gas going down 6 cents?
Actually, we use about 600 million. Our appetite in the United States is about 600 million barrels of crude a month, 600 million, and he released 1 million. That's a pimple, right? That's not very much at all. He did that for politics, saying that he's releasing some oil and he's buying some oil to, hey, at 75, 80 bucks, it's hard to fill these things back up at these prices. So, but that doesn't really matter. It's a good point, and I appreciate you saying that because it is true. But that's a political move, and it's not going to really help.
All right, hey Jay, let's call you back. We got a bad connection here, and our producer is going to call you right back if that's okay.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
So yeah, and it's funny how this is always a political football. Every election year, I don't care who's president, they're going to find
a way to bring it down,
nice and find a way to fix it. And now we do have our guest back, Jay Young. And Jay, we were talking about, and Rocky and I were talking there just for a sec about the politics involved here. And as we were saying, it doesn't matter who's president. They're going to do what they can do to make it at least cosmetically look good.
Oh, exactly. I mean, it's just like the last election a few years ago that Biden was releasing, this was 2 years ago, Biden released 150 million barrels of oil out of the strategic reserve. Now, let's go back to what's the strategic reserve. That's set aside for if we go to war, we need that's a storage capacity for the United States to live on, literally live on. If we ever go to war, we're going to need oil because we don't have enough. And if things are shut down, it's just kind of like a safety blanket, if you will, for oil. That's our strategic reserve. Well, he releases 150 million barrels of oil. Why? Because he wanted prices to go down. Why? Because we're in an election year. I mean, whoa. This is not oil that we can just use up. What if we did go to war? What if we did need it? We're not going to have it because he released it for politics, political reasons. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying I'm a Republican, I'm a Democrat. I'm not saying anything. I'm just stating a fact that he's releasing this oil and he's still releasing it. And I hope, pray for my family and everybody listening that we don't need that oil ever. But nobody knows. And if we do go into a really bad world war and we need that oil and we don't have it, because he released it because of political reasons, I don't think that's a very good reason to release.
100%. Well, and Jay, let me ask you this. We had a guest on yesterday talking about how certainly not here in Ohio, but places like California where they are hell-bent on EVs and you can't even hardly buy a gasoline-powered vehicle anymore. How much is the effect of EVs and that affected gas and gas usage across the United States?
Yeah, I mean, it's getting there, and it will increase in the future, but it's not really – what I look at, that's a good question, because people are thinking about electric cars, and they're all over Dallas. They're really all over California. My last trip out there, man, it was like there's so many, which is awesome. I mean, I'm great. I'm but it's not really hurting what we call oil demand, and oil demand is going to continue to increase. So if we decrease our supply, which is what Biden, did with the stroke of a pen when he became elected, and not drilling in places that are, that are hard to get to, or Alaska, it's like, Trump says, he pulls all these old guys in a room and says, hey, I'll give you guys $1 billion if you'll get me elected. Give me $1 billion for my campaign, get me elected, and I'm going to tell everybody, as soon as I get elected, you can drill here, you can drill here, you can drill here, you can drill here. I mean, he's the other side of oil and gas drilling, obviously. Mm-hmm. Drill, baby, drill. So it is really important on how much we're drilling and how much we're backed or not backed by our government and what happens on a daily basis in the United States.
And we're talking to Jay Young. And Jay, is there any estimate, just as far as the United States go, not counting Canada, Mexico, whatever, the United States, is there any estimate of how much oil really we're sitting on?
Yeah, there's an estimate, and like West Texas is probably one of the biggest reserves that we have remaining. And there is. The problem is getting it out of the ground, and having not only getting it out of the ground, but also making sure that we have the capital to get it out of the ground, because it costs a lot of money. Hundreds of billions of dollars was spent back in the Trump days on drilling, drill, baby, drill. But you saw what happened to oil and gas prices. Oil and gas prices went down because we were drill, baby, drill, and we were at our capacity. I mean, our roads, in Midland, Texas, which is normally a pretty quiet little town, they're backed up traffic, and because everybody's going to work and everybody's driving trucks and everybody's having to transport all this oil that we're producing. So it's not good for the roads. It's I don't know if it's good or bad. In my opinion, it's kind of not really that great, because we do have a lot of reserves in the United States. Saudi Arabia, well, we don't know how many barrels the Saudi Arabia or these other countries these other countries have. We can take their word for it, but it's kind of hard to do. And there's always new techniques all the time that are being found to, to drill and complete wells in a better fashion. And like the Permian Basin near Midland, it was 10 years ago, it was producing 1 million barrels a day, 1 million barrels a day. Today it's 6 million, 5 million more barrels a day just in one area because of horizontal drilling and longer laterals and the way that you frac. I mean, go on our website, kingoperating.com. You can learn all this stuff, and it's absolutely extraordinary. It's outstanding information. It's great. This business is an incredible business. Clients love the write-offs and they love the monthly income, and while we scale the investments, but it's also just a fascinating business. I've got some Japanese media people coming down, going to one of our wells here at the end of this month, the 25th, I believe, one of our wells, and it's really a great business to be in, and exciting that when you see the oil coming out of the ground and you're drilling and all the things that are happening. But, in the United States, we're just not seeing that as much as we were. And if we do get into if we do vote for the Democrats at the end of this year, you are going to see prices continuing to go up faster than you would if you saw a Republican, because Democrats just look at that oil demand. That oil demand has nothing to do with anybody. That's just how much oil, George Bush said in his State of the Union address in 2006, we have an addiction to oil. I mean, we love oil, right? I mean, plastics.
Well, yeah, so much is made from
cars.
it.
Oh,
Yeah. We have such an addiction to oil, and that's not going away anytime soon. So our demand is going to continue to be strong and continuing to increase. Now, what we do with the supply side is what's going to happen or not in the next, year, 2 years, 3 years after the election, because if Biden says we're going to cut off every rig in the United States, I mean, prices would be, 10,000 or something.
Yeah.
We wouldn't want to do that, but it's,
right. Well,
of course, drill baby drill with Trump's a whole different, you can see the difference.
All right.
Stay tuned and give me a call back soon.
All right, Jay, we appreciate it, man. Our good friend
Absolutely.
Jay Young, he is an oil industry expert. He is an author, and we really appreciate you joining us.
Thanks, guys.